Hey guys, welcome back to the Bill Brothers. It's been a while. I haven't really done any major projects with the E36 recently, but I was attempting to start a new project, and what I wanted to do was actually fix this back glass trim. And I'm gonna be honest. I went on YouTube, I went on the forums, and I checked out, and it seemed like a pretty simple thing. Mine is really old, is brittle, it's been breaking off and chipping off, and I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and change that out. One of the things that I forgot to notice, or maybe it hasn't been discussed before, is that if your back glass was recently glued, they're going to glue the trim into the glass itself as well. So it's not going to come off as easily as you see in some of these videos. I think most of the videos, they kind of assume that you're going to be, it's been 15 years, 20 years since anybody's ever even touched that. So it comes off, and it makes perfect sense that way. But in my case, that was not it. And so I just kind of had to stop that project and kind of reassess it, and I realized that my defroster is broken because I tinted and I scraped off all that stuff, and I knew that was busted. When I originally tried sanding out the car to see if I can try to paint it myself a few years ago, I ended up scratching that windshield as well. So I figured, that's 2 strikes against it. Might as well just see if I can get a new one at some point soon. So I'm going to be looking out recently for, in the future I'm going to be looking out for a new back glass, whether if I run into it at a junkyard or if I buy it brand new, which fortunately I think they still make it. So either route, I'll see if that's going to be the next project, just because I also have another leak. So there's strike 3, so it's out. It's gotta go soon. So today I wanted to make a really different video. So I wanted to do something for fun. So one of the things that's been bothering me is having these little garage door openers plugged into the visor, denting it, and causing this imprint here. And I'm kind of annoying. Those little things bother me. So one of the things that I realized, I tried to do something a little crazy last time. And I got this idea last time I went to the junkyard. So I went to the junkyard and I found a car that had the hi-fi stereo switch installed. So, it looks kind of like this thing, little hi-fi switch. I went ahead and cut the whole harness. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try to do is solder that to the actual button in the, for the garage door opener. So what I'm going to try to do is have a built-in garage door opener, so when I press the button, my garage door opens that way. I don't need this, and here I have a perfect OEM solution, OEM looking solution for the garage door opener, and I'm kind of excited about that. So and we'll see. I think I have a solution for the power, but you'll see how that works out. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up first. Once it's nice and clean, I'm gonna see if we kind of rearrange to a better location where we can solder and find the points on the on the motherboard for this thing, the little board, and that way we can see if we can make a built-in switch. All right, I think it'll be cool. So stick around. Okay, so we're in a slightly better and definitely cooler location. So we're gonna go ahead and get our trusty digital multimeter. And first thing we need to do is find continuity in this switch. So what we need to find out is at what point when you press any one of these buttons, you're gonna see that it'll be the same thing as crossing wires. So kind of like when you're hot starting stuff. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. And with their digital multimeter, the easiest way you can tell with what continuity is, set it to the continuity setting, which is what I like to call the God of War symbol. Yeah. I know, weird, but so look what happens when we touch these two together here. So you're gonna see, that's how you know it's got continuity. It usually goes into a really low number, but you know that they're touching each other, so that's the same effect that we're gonna try here. I already went ahead and tested, so I want to just skip. So I realized that the default location for this switch is going to be by pressing this in. So that's actually going to be our off. So if you see it this way, so with the big speaker on, it's going to be our off location, and that one took me a little bit to figure out because I was hoping to just press on to like more power, and then suddenly the garage would open. But in our case, the one that works is the little one, so we can just press down and that'll trigger the garage door, and then we can just put it back to off. So in here it would be our yellow cable and the purple cable, these two cables. So if we put this here and this here, you're gonna see that our multimeter, it should be, well, you know, hopefully if I could actually, maybe. Okay, there we go. Let's try it. So you're gonna see yellow and the purple cable. There you are, yellow and purple cable. You're gonna see that it's getting that really low number roughly. So you know that when it's in the pressed in position, it's making continuity. So you know those are going to be the wires we're going to use. So now that we identify the wire, the next step is to actually look at the garage door opener to find the points where the button hits on the board, and that's we're gonna switch and jumper that and hopefully solder those points. And when we press the button, it should power up. And I should say the garage should work. We're gonna move to that next. Okay, so I went ahead and took apart the garage door opener and found a little motherboard with battery attached. We're gonna remove the battery in just a second, but pay attention to the button that you had to press. In this case, the only one I ever pressed was the big button there. So, and where it lines up. So when it lines up like that, you can notice that this one right here corresponds to the big button. But then you need to find out from the back of that button right here, you can see there's 4 connectors. You need to play around with a little jumper wire, kind of like this, okay, and tap the corners and see which one. And in my case, we should be able to cross diagonally like that, and I can hear my garage door opening. So we know that that's the way it works. Okay, so that's exactly where we're going to solder the cables coming out from our hi-fi adapter or any kind of switch that you want. Okay, so we're going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and heat up the soldering iron and connect it to the 2 diagonal ends, and hopefully we'll have right there we'll have a working switch. So once we flip it up, we should be able to trigger the garage door opener. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Okay, so we're back outside. I just finished soldering. As you can see, here you go. See, there's 2 wires, the 2 wires that we identified, the purple and the yellow ones, diagonally from each other. And you'll see that the switch is on the hi-fi. It's on the, you know, right now currently on the whatever the high speaker, the big speaker is. And right now, if it works, we can just press down on the little speaker and it should trigger the garage door opener. So, see? And we can just eject it there. If we want to do it again, we can just hit there and it's going to open up again. So if you actually want, this is done. You know, you can just wrap this up and stick it in the compartment. I think I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to show you a cool little thing I found on Amazon that I think will make everything worthwhile. Because once you have something done like this, the most annoying part would then be replacing that battery. I mean, luckily it'd be like once a year or something like that. But what I want to do is be able to tie the power from the car, so that way we would never have to change a battery at all. So I bought a cool little adapter. I'm gonna show you next how it works and all that stuff. Okay, so here's the little item that I was talking about. I think that in this case it's called SMAKN is the brand that makes it. I got this off Amazon, and this is a 12 volt to 3 volt converter. The batteries that this uses, which are I believe the 2032 batteries, are 3 volt batteries. So what we're gonna do is be able to tap into the car And so any 12-volt source, which are these wires, and just in our case, you can. And I'm not going to tell you where we're going to put them. I'm just going to see where I can find power from. And then this end right here will then come out with 3 volts, and then you would solder that into the board where the battery's at. So obviously positive and negative connect there, and then you get a constant 3 volts for the rest of the car's life, and you don't ever have to change any batteries. So I think that's an awesome deal. So I'm going to see if I find a 12-volt source. And then once I find a 12-volt source, I may come back and I'll show you the finished product inside the car. Alright, so I decided to get a little carried away, and I ended up making this long harness with 2 different remotes that I needed. And you can see all wired to the same 12-volt to 3-volt adapter. And I found out that I can tap power using the the flashlight connector. I don't have a flashlight right now, but it's a constant 12-volt source, so that we're going to power that there and hopefully snake this on through all the way down to the center console, where this was going to come out, and it should be able to power up. Luckily, the good thing is we'll know that we have the correct power because one of the remotes that we have actually has a built-in light right there. You can see it. So that way we know that it's going to be getting the correct amount of power and it's actually functioning. I was getting kind of concerned because the first one that I started didn't have a light or any kind of indicator, so I didn't want to wire the whole thing up and suddenly, oh man, now none of these switches are working. So I'll show you where I'm going to tap the power from. I'll show you how I'm going to snake this in, and I'll show you hopefully the finished product and hopefully working. So you'll see soon. Okay, so as you can see, I just removed the glove box, and right here, this is the flashlight connector, and this is a constant 12-volt source right here. If you have trouble finding out, usually the brown cable is always negative here, but if you open the dash, it actually tells you which one's positive and negative right there, which is really neat. So that way you don't have to worry about it. So can't go wrong. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tap in the power to that cable right there. Feed the whole harness through here and make it come out of this area, which will then be able to, we're going to be able to use these, pop these up and kind of set them into place. So hopefully the next step you're going to see, I'm going to fish everything through so you can see how everything fit, and then we'll be almost ready to test. Okay, so you can see I ended up fishing, putting already both of the switches there, routing all the cables through here, and when they came out over here I had to extend it because it was too little too short. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use these wire taps to tap off the right here, the I don't know why I keep having problems with the flashlight socket, so that we can kind of grab power for both these. Obviously I made the mistake of putting both red wires, so I have to make sure that I know which one, that the black's the ground and the red's the positive. So hopefully if all goes well, I tap this, I'm going to put the glove compartment back on and cross my fingers that it works. Let's see. Okay, so now as you can see, I went ahead and put everything back together, glove compartments back in, no wires are sticking out or anything. And this, when I press down here, it should trigger on the garage, and let's see. Sure enough, there's the garage. Awesome. In this case, I have to click it back up and then click it again, so that way it goes back up. That's why I kind of like the fact that this one, which is my other garage door opener, not for this place unfortunately, it is actually just a momentary push button, so it will act just like if it was one of the click buttons. But me being weird like that, I don't want to put 2 ASC buttons there. That just looks kind of weird. In this case, the hi-fi and the ASC I don't make it look kind of cooler. So as you can see, right now everything's being powered by the 12 volt in the car, being converted to 3 volt for the motherboard for the garage door opener, and being powered on its own. So no batteries to ever change. It's just always going to get powered by the car. So if you like it, definitely subscribe. And I would say this is another build that's complete.